So one angry gamer is mad that the BBC is making a children's drama kid series that's about a trans girl who is going through school. I believe she's being played by a real-life trans girl, as far as I know. And boy, is one angry gamer and TERFs on the internet super duper mad about it. TERFs, general transphobes, basically anyone who wants to invalidate the fact that some people are trans. Cherry Tree Boy with 100 bits for the train, baby. Thank you. I appreciate that. Anyway, this article says, BBC's first day promotes child grooming trans propaganda. Let me be clear about this before we even start the article. Nowhere in this show, in the trailer, is child grooming mentioned. Is it a topic? Is it a theme? This is a show just about a young trans individual trying to navigate their life. That's it, right? But of course, it involves trans people. So, one angry gamer thinks it's child grooming just because trans. Yeah, bad. Anyway, BBC is continuing to promote caustic, society-disrupting ideologies, especially those of a perverse nature. Loaded sentence. Much like Netflix and how they're promoting child transgenderism with shows like The Babysitter's Club, that Netflix is making a remake of The Babysitter's Club, and one of the kids that gets babysat is a trans individual. For those of you who don't know, that's what's being referenced there. The BBC is gung-ho in depicting, quote, pederasty and child grooming whenever and wherever possible, which includes their new show First Day. Why does one angry gamer jump to sex the second trans individuals get mentioned? I don't know. It's very strange. It makes no sense. It's literally a show, like any show about a it's like a coming-of-age TV show. It looks like every episode, the child character is going to be in some dilemma involving their life at school and interacting with their peers, and then they're going to learn a lesson. You've seen tons of shows like this. Clarissa Explains It All, basically every Nickelodeon show. Like, it's just a thing. Lizzie McGuire, all sorts of shows. It just so happens that this show is about a trans individual. Antipodian Squid with 200 bits. Speaking of transphobes being super mad about things, did you see J.K. Rowling gave back a Human Rights Award for social change because because she disagrees with the Foundation on Trans Rights? Jesus. J.K. cannot sink any lower. I'm telling ya. I say that, but watch, in a week she'll do something even stupider. The live-action show is about a 12-year-old... He says, I am not saying this, is about a 12-year-old boy who is being told by his parents that he's a little girl. No! None of that sentence is true. This show is about a young trans woman. That's it. None of what you just said is true. The show attempts to normalize child abuse and grooming young kids into gender transitioning. You can see the trailer below. We're going to watch the trailer. Obviously, none of this involves grooming children. None of this involves child abuse. Literally, if your kid is trans and you're refusing to allow them to at least get on blockers, you are abusing that child. You are not abusing your child if they're trans, and you're getting them where they want to go in terms of their identity. Here's the video. I'm going to send you guys a link to this, because boy oh boy, have the transphobes completely screwed up the ratio on this. So if every single person from this stream went and gave this like an upvote on the YouTube channel, it would help a lot, because boy oh boy are transphobes mad that trans kids are being represented in a TV show. Link is in the chat. Check it out. Thanks for the hype train, everyone. Appreciate it.
First day of school is always a difficult time in life, but for Hannah, things are a little bit different.
Her name's even Hannah!
Follow her journey meeting new friends,
Do you know where the new kids are supposed to go?
overcoming difficult obstacles,
Hi there, Tommy boy. Don't call me that. I just want to be treated like everyone else.
and discovering who she really is, and that being yourself is the most important thing you can be.
I want to tell her that I'm trans.
Brand new First Day, Wednesdays at 5 on CBBC and BBC.
Like, it just looks like a cute show, like a kid show that's dealing with the struggles of trans kids. It's great. I would have loved this show when I was a kid. Like I said, link is in the chat. If you liked that trailer, go like it to make the transphobes mad. This is not a good sign for the future of humanity. Especially children going through puberty who will end up being forced to transition by corrupt doctors and abusive parents. No child is being forced to transition. Quite the opposite. There are tons of trans kids who aren't allowed to take steps because their parents don't believe them. Are you serious? I can think of literally one example of a time when someone has been forced to transition, and it wasn't about the kid being trans. It was about an insane psychiatrist trying to prove a crackpot hypothesis, where they basically, when the child was a infant, performed a sex reassignment operation on them and wanted to see what would happen. Like, it's just incredibly messed up. That happened once. And it is, like, held up as, like, one of the worst ethical violations in the history of psychiatry. Devious Chilster with 50 bits. Are you kidding me? This is the kind of show I needed when I was young, so I didn't go through my entire childhood believing I was an effing freak for liking girl things more than guy things. Yeah. The identical twin study. Yeah. It's that one. But it gets worse. The show is being promoted via YouTube Kids. Yeah, it's a kid show. It's a show for kids. The comments have been disabled as part of the video's eligibility for YouTube Kids, thus showing that the CBBC, which is supposed to be for children, it is for children, want to indoctrinate your kids with the trans agenda. It's just showing that trans people exist, which we do. Not propaganda, unless you want to call, like, I don't know, Lizzie McGuire propaganda, or iCarly propaganda. Like, if this is propaganda, literally every show is propaganda. Quest Friendly, thank you for gifting a tier 1 sub, I appreciate that. And thank you, Quest Friendly, for continuing your 4-month subscription. Nice. So for all you parents out there who are told that YouTube Kids is safe, it's not. I mean, it is. It's just, kids are, I don't know how to tell you this, guys. Kids are gonna find out that trans people exist. Because we do? And you can't shield your kids from reality. They're trying to turn your little boys into little girls and little girls into little boys. No! What people are trying to do is get idiots like you to understand that there are people who are born where their gender identity is incongruous with their sexual identity. By sexual identity, I mean, like, the junk they have, basically. And the gender identity that is prescribed to them by society based on their genitalia. That's what it is. It's pretty simple. No one's trying to force anyone to do anything. It's about the freedom of human beings to identify and present themselves in a way that makes them happy and comfortable in their own skin. It's disturbing and disgusting practice that needs to end by any means necessary. What do you mean by any means necessary? What does that mean? Nobj, thank you for subscribing. 4-month streak. Did you miss Ben? You did. That was the first hour. The Ender 92 with 100 bits. iCarly was incredibly creepy looking back. Dan the Man Schneider was a creep. This looks happy. iCarly is gross looking back. True. It's only propaganda if they find it icky. No, you existing is an agenda, and I can't deal with knowing someone like you exists. Obvious sarcasm. You don't say. Designs23, thank you for following. Welcome to the stream. Yeah. Never, fun fact, I discovered WikiFeet Because as a joke once, on stream, I looked up, like, Miranda Cosgrove feet. I don't remember the context. That's how I learned Wiki Feet exists. And yes, in case you're curious, Miranda Cosgrove has a Wiki Feet page. They were all pictures of her feet as an adult, for the record, if that matters to you, which it should. Dan Schneider needs to go to jail. True. Maybe I'll go over Dan Schneider someday, because I don't know how many people know about that. The alternative is that networks, streaming services, and cable stations will continue to normalize child grooming and the LGBTQIA plus lifestyle in order to indoctrinate your children into thinking that pederasty is okay. And now he's jumping again to, like, pedophilia with absolutely no evidence of a connection between recognizing and understanding transgender individuals and that. There's no connection. VM Draco 77, thanks for following. Highly and Derp with 80 bits. I wish that I'd seen stuff like this as a kid, so I could have known that being trans was even a thing. It would have made my teenage years much less miserable. Yep. It won't be long after that they'll start pushing for legislation to legalize... Nope. Pedophilia. And there won't be anything you can do to stop it peaceably. No. Absolutely not. This is the same slippery slope argument conservatives used against gay people. It's literally the same argument. Remember in the 90s, they'd be like, what? First it's letting the gays get married, and next you're gonna be trying to legalize pedophilia. No. Nope. What do people on the right not understand about consent? Whether it's, like, about sexual encounters or about presenting yourself as who you are as a person. Consent is always key. What do they not understand? Anyway. Have you guys ever seen that quote from Bill O'Reilly? Was it Bill O'Reilly or was it Rush Limbaugh? Let me find it. Maybe it was Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh. Yeah, Rush Limbaugh at one point said this. Oh, come on, I gotta find the bigger quote than that. So he was talking about, this is, I think, when there was the, you know, grab them by the P word conversation that got leaked from Donald Trump, and he's talking about consent. And he says, if there's consent on all or both or three or four, however many are involved in the sex act, it's perfectly fine, whatever it is. But if the left ever senses and smells that there's no consent in part of the equation, then here comes the RAPE, please. But consent is the magic key to the left. Yes! Why are you making fun of this? Literally, yes! What do you not get about consent being the key? Absolute monster. And then in 2014, Limbaugh expressed his frustrations about the definition of consent. How many of you guys in your own experience with women have learned that no means yes if you know how to spot it? So Rush Limbaugh's definitely assaulted women before, in case anyone was curious about that. I don't think anyone was really on the fence. I think we all probably assumed already, but... I really don't get it. I don't understand what they don't understand about consent. It's very simple. Anyway, that's it of this annoying article.